I was a final expense guy because it was easy for me to understand. It's kind of like if Craig ordered a pizza and he said, hey, instead of spaghetti sauce, I want peanut butter. And instead of cheese, I want half-cooked spaghetti noodles. And instead of pepperonis, actually I want pepperonis, but I'm gonna put gumballs on there too. We'd all agree that's a really weird pizza. Less than 1% of people ever would do that, right? But if I knocked on Craig's door and I held the pizza like this, and Craig looked at me dead in the eyes and go, I didn't order that, I would look at him like he's crazy.
Yeah, how did you get into this crazy world? Take us back to when you were young and dying to just dive into the insurance world.
Yeah, right. When I went to bed praying at night saying I'd like to sell final expense insurance on a commission-only basis, please. Like no one's ever said that prayer, right? I dropped out of high school twice. I never went to college. I became a finance manager, which is Southern for finance, and my office got broken into twice in 1 week, and they blamed me for it. So as a 25-year-old dude with no college education that was living 2 hours away from home that got fired, my friend said, hey, you want to do something with some old people and some insurance? And I said, 100%. I'm coming to work on Monday. And I watched this guy that made $1 million a year. We're going to air quotes it because I don't really know. Who knows to this day? He's still a mentor of mine and we talk. But he dressed in a fancy suit and he said,
blah, 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 commission percent. If you collect a $50 check, we're going to pay you $315.
And then he went on to the next slide and the next slide. And I remember sitting front row at this sales, event thing, you will. And I raised my hand real high and I said, can you rewind the tape like 5 minutes for me? And he went, what? And I went, I have 3 questions for you. Is that legal? How many times can I do it in a day? And where the hell do I get my license? And that was on a Monday. And on Monday, he said, you can do it as many times as you want, as long as you have your license, and you study and get your test and blah, blah, blah. And I said, what if I pass it tomorrow? And he said, yeah, I mean, technically you could get it. You should study. And I said, well, no one ever asked the doctor what they made on their test. They just know doctor. I didn't study. I passed with a 71 and got my insurance license the next day.
No way.
Yeah. And then on Wednesday, I got, my actual license. You had to take the exam at Pearson VUE. Wednesday, I got my actual license. It was in Columbia, South Carolina. So I just drove to the Department of Insurance in South Carolina, paid the fee, got it the same day, got contracted on Thursday. And on Friday, they told me about these things called leads. Has anybody ever heard of leads? And I was like, you're going to give me people that want this stuff too, and you're going to pay me? I was like, this is the best job in the world. But the lead wasn't an actual lead. It was a walk list. It was a mailing list. And so I just had an Excel spreadsheet, and the first door I knocked on, her name's Miss Jocelyn, I'll never forget her. I knocked on the door, she thought I was the police, and she opened the door and I said, hey, you filled out a card about insurance. She goes, no, I did not. And I said, the only reason I'm here is because you did. So we got to do this. And she says, come on in. So I sat down with her and I got real close with her and I said, Mary, Jocelyn, I don't know what I'm doing. But what I do know is if you give me a $50 check right now, I'm going to make $300. I didn't say that. I said, I can get you exactly, I did the math, $10,183. And she looked at me. She goes, for real? I said, yes, ma'am. That's what he told me. And that's what and she didn't even, she didn't know the company. She said, you write the check for me. I did it for her. We did the application. She got approved. I knocked on 6 doors that day. I got into 4 homes because 4 people were home. I did the exact same presentation and sold 4 policies. The next Monday,
on your first day, you were like the superhero.
It gets funnier.
But this is your 3rd day, like, since you heard of this,
yeah, Monday
right?
I heard about it. Friday, 4 sales.
Okay, so
Sunday,
it's your 5th
you didn't even
day
know what insurance was.
The next Monday, because it was a big recruiting model, MLM type place.
Yeah.
Monday, I'm sitting there like all pumped up. I'm like, damn, I got all this money. And the guy starts talking again and does the exact same presentation of how much money you can make. And I raised my hand again and he went, yes, sir. I said, when do we get paid? He said, what do you mean? I said, I got 4 applications here with 4 checks for $50 each. By my calculations, you owe me $1,260. And he said, you did 4? And I said, yes, sir. He goes, did you send these to the home office? I said, you didn't say anything about a home office. You just told me to collect check. He goes, wait a second, you got 4 $50 checks? I said, yeah. He said, what if it cost more? What if they wanted more? I said, you didn't tell me that. You told me to collect a $50 check. I was that dumb when I first got. I was legitimately just tell me what to do. I'm going to go make money. Right?
Yeah.
And so he goes, "You want to teach the class?" And I said, "Boy, do I ever. This is the best thing in the world." So I started teaching agents on how I would, they're like, "How did you do it?" And I'm like, "I just walked up to them and told them, give me a check and they need this much insurance." But then, reality set in and I sit in the home office and the people did get approved, but the commission percent wasn't exactly how it was. And a 50% advance and blah, all these different things started happening. And I worked there for about 2 years and started to learn. And then I just kind of transitioned into more of a broker and just kept going from there.
I love it. So many lessons within that period of the story, the first 5 days, because I love the fact that this is the best sales lesson on the planet. You don't need to know anything about anything before you do something. And a lot of times, almost everybody that I talk to about sales or even just doing a new venture is like, okay, I need the list. I need all the background. I need to be the best at whatever, right? You just went in, took the test. You could have failed it. Who cares? You just did it. You took action. And then the other thing was the fact of you knew nothing about the product, but you just went to sell it. I mean, it's almost like you put the least amount of thought possible, which created the most amount of results.
Yeah, I decided to become ignorant in what I was doing.
Yeah.
Well, you had to sell yourself instead of the thing because you didn't know the thing. You know yourself, which is creating the rapport. Boom.
100%.
Because that's all sales is, right? 50% of it minimum is rapport, right? Yeah. There you go.
They didn't never ask me what company it was and all this stuff. I just said, look, I'm giving dollars for pennies. It's just I couldn't believe it. I said, look, and I'm country, so I had the paper applications. I'm like, look, they even told me I got this thing called a conditional receipt, and I licked it. I didn't have scissors, did that and ripped it off. And I was like, if they say you're approved on the phone and you give me a check, if I leave here and an acorn hits you on the wrong side of the head, you're covered. This is the craziest thing. I was like, I can't believe this. This is real. And they're like, really? And I'm like, I'm telling you. They keep telling me it's real. And I just kept selling.
But dude, that's how simple it really is. But the complication comes within.
What do I say when they say this? What do I? Everybody future trips everything
about the policy. Yeah, it's all those things.
Well, yeah, people get ready to get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get ready to get ready to get. Yeah. My first sales job was selling cars, which probably was one of the best learnings or things to just get thrown into. I didn't know anything. The first month I was salesman of the month because I didn't know anything. I just would go up to everybody, just everybody. They call it when you work it, they call it an up, taking an up. So the people that walk on the lot are ups. And I learned very quickly that you can't just hand out the brochure, right? That I was basically selling it for the guy down the street. And one of the older guys came, he said, hey, you just need to freaking close them. You can't give them the thing or they're gonna walk down to Toyota and buy a Toyota because you did all the work. And now the other guy just has to close them. So, finish it. And so he told me what to do and that was it. But it was because I was taking all the new ones and I didn't pre-qualify them or think they couldn't do it or whatever, right? You just went in, it didn't matter. It didn't matter how bad their house looked. It didn't matter. You just freaking went in there and they were going to buy and you were excited about it. And I was excited about these stupid Chevy Malibus back in 98,
It's a great car.
And made people
buy
it.
It's a great car, yeah.
It was.
I know. I sold a very specific type of insurance. It was final expense. It still is final expense. I'm a final expense nut. I know it sounds weird, but I'm more of a senior citizen nut. It's grown into hospital indemnity and Medicare and all these different things. I was a final expense guy because it was easy for me to understand. You are going to pass away. You need this. I have this. You want this. The sale was over for me. It was and even today, I train agents all day long and they come up with all these crazy objections. And it's just when you realize there's only really 7 main objections that happen, it comes down to the people don't trust you or it's not affordable to them.
Right.
But if I sit down with somebody about life insurance, I look at them as they're crazy if they don't want to buy from me because why am I here? You know what I mean?
Right.
I set an appointment. You filled out a card. You filled out a form on Facebook. Right? Less than 1% of people fill out a form. You would never, ever, ever walk to your mailbox, bring it back in, sort through the mail, find a working pen, put your personal information on a card, lick the envelope, walk back to the mailbox, put it back in the mailbox, and put your flag in it, right? That's crazy. But that's the demographic that is final expense in Medicare. And so it's kind of like if Craig ordered a pizza and he said, hey, instead of spaghetti sauce, I want peanut butter. And instead of cheese, I want half-cooked spaghetti noodles. And instead of pepperonis, actually I want pepperonis, but I'm gonna put gumballs on there too. We'd all agree that's a really weird pizza. Less than 1% of people ever would do that, right? But if I knocked on Craig's door and I held the pizza like this, and Craig looked at me dead in the eyes and go, I didn't order that, I would look at him like he's crazy. Because the only reason I'm holding this pizza and I have a job is because you ordered this.
Right.
And so the mentality for leads, for me, it was very simple. People did an action in order for me to have a reaction to be here. And so it's a very, very simple thing. And then I started learning about, marketing and leads, and I got really good at Facebook leads and just got in the mindset of a senior citizen. And it's been fun ever since, man. I love it.
So what was the next hurdle? I mean, that had to be tough when you realize these policies didn't go through. These guys are kind of...
The biggest thing that I had to overcome very early was because I was so new and naive and ignorant that I didn't get the contract that was even street, that wasn't even like an okay contract to give out to an agent. And I quickly realized I was at the bottom of this pyramid scheme. And so for the only way for me to get to the top is if 9 people die, quit, or change their mind. But I love the culture that I was with. It was some of the best training that I've ever received, ever. They taught me how to dress. They had taught me to talk. They taught me to walk. They taught me the Columbo method of selling, And yeah, just real quick, one more thing before I get out of here, And you could do that. Just keep going and keep going. Eventually people are like, all right, I'll freaking buy it from you, right?
Oh, wait, yeah,
just real quick. But they taught me all these things, but I realized that I wasn't going to move up because of how the system was set. There was a guy that had a 120-point contract. I had a 50. So that means there's so many people in between. And I'm going, well, how am I supposed to get to there? And they were like, oh, well, just keep selling. Just keep selling. And I would go and recruit, and because I was their main recruiter, because I was good on stage and talking to people and getting to... So all the new people would come up to me and be like, man, are you doing, is this really fun? I'm like, yeah, it's the greatest job in the world. You get to talk to old people all day long and they teach you stuff and you get make money. This is the best thing ever, But the hurdle was trying to figure out and being okay with leaving that culture in knowing or not knowing that I'd still be friends with those people today because I love people. I like, making friends. And so I thought, well, if I leave this place, then they're going to hate me. So I had to get past that. And I can tell you that those people don't hate me, that those same people offered me a job when I left my previous position, that they still want me to work with them, right? And they love me, and we're still friends. We're still friends, So if you're an agent, if you're watching this and you're kind of like, man, I'm kind of stuck in this thing, you're not. The insurance business is such a good opportunity for anybody, and it's kind of like, it's like an upside down tree. Once you get rooted, those roots spread out everywhere. You have so many opportunities.
What year did you start?
2015.
Okay, so a lot's changed
quite a bit
in digital marketing and the landscape. There was some kind of weird event happened in the middle there between today and
everybody got sick.
2015. Yeah, somebody got sick. I don't know, something. But talk about how you've adjusted the mechanics of your marketing as time has progressed and as you've become higher up on the food chain.
I wouldn't say that much has changed. It's more of, from the marketing's perspective, the only thing I would say has changed rapidly is how fast people intake information. So and I'll go super nerdy here if you want me to, but when someone's scrolling through Facebook, you've got about a 1.1 to 1.2 second chance to get them to stop on your ad. And if anybody pulls out their phone right now and looks at their Facebook, it's going to be something relevant to you, ad, relevant ad, relevant ad. And no one can tell you what the 14th ad on their Facebook profile was today. And so the trick is to get them to fill out the information that you need as soon as possible and get them back to Facebook, get them back to where they were at before. And then most people have told me in my career that as soon as a lead comes in, you're supposed to do what?
Call
wrong, personally.
No, but I was answering what most of the people would say.
That's what they say. But I think that's wrong because after about a year of doing my the first company, I didn't want to pay for direct mail, so I started learning digital advertising. And all I did for the next year to 2 years was I was doing Facebook ads in 2016, 2017. I would go to that person's house, and this is my entire presentation during those 2 years. I'd go, Craig, I know you're going to buy insurance from me because why the hell else would I be here? You fill out a form on Facebook, right, about this. What I want to know is what made you click on this. Was it the picture? Was it the wording? What did you not like? What did you like? You know, what is your experience as a client from seeing all these new things? And so I have hundreds and hundreds of copious notes of clients telling me what they like and didn't like about the process. And so I adjusted the process to make the client experience feel like it's not even sales. Does that make sense?
Love it.
Yeah.
So it's you know, we all use automations and CRMs and blah, 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 right? But the ones that, you know, as soon as lead comes in, dialer, sys call, Mary, you must be looking for insurance right now. No, I was sitting on my couch watching a TV show and I saw your ad. So I kind of, you know, slowly but surely allow the seniors to engage with me, or the automation, if you will. And it takes about a 20 to 25 minute ramp up period. But then the propensity score of that person filling out an appointment or actually remembering why they filled out a form is much higher if you allow them to stair step their way into it, versus being like, you filled out a form about insurance, you better call me right now. You know, it's changed so much. And now because of the FCC rules are changing, you know, there's a lot of one-to-one stuff that a lot of agents that don't know how to market. It's becoming more of a superpower in today's economy.
Well, thank you so much, Matthew. Awesome to have you on, and I'll see you in your group. And thanks a lot, man. Thanks for what you're doing for agents.
Absolutely, man. Thank you again, guys.